And we are officially live, y'all. We are officially live. It's another beautiful Wednesday night, and this is VividLife TV with yours truly, Alex Auguste. Y'all, we are on the cusp of one of these hurricanes, man. Hurricane Helen, I don't know, whatever the case may be. So things are getting a little crazy over here. I'm glad to still be able to be doing this live tonight and going live with y'all tonight. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't know. I hope these lights don't go out because it is starting to turn up a little bit. It's starting to get a little crazy. And of course, I need to make sure that, all things around the crib are maintained. So we're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to have, swell live, all the conversation that you guys can expect from VividLife TV per the usual. So we are live on YouTube and Twitch. As always, it's F Elon, because why can't we go live on Twitter anymore? Like, I'm not paying. This man is trying to do anything in his power to get me to pay the $8 so that we can go live on Twitter, but we're not going to be doing that. So nonetheless, y'all, welcome to VividLife TV with Alex Auguste. Here is where we have conversation about community. I messed that up. This is where we bring together conversation, creativity, and community. So without further ado, y'all, this stream tonight is going to be kind of something special because it's going to be a very interesting one with a longtime friend, and we have not had a chance to have some of these conversations in public. So let me get this. I'm going to read this off. I hope y'all don't mind. But our guest tonight is Boss Lady, certified project manager, content creator, and real estate investor. She can be seen on TikTok, dropping gems literally all the time when it comes to how to become a project manager, what to do become a project manager, and just kind of facilitating all conversations surrounding that. I keep telling her she should be a coach. We'll get to that. But before she was doing that, living her best life, traveling all over the world, she was my co-host on a little known show back in college called GoodKnocking Radio. Throwback. We're going to talk about that too. But we're back on mic tonight for the first time in years, more than 10 years. So ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up, man. And introducing my guest for tonight, VividLife TV, y'all give it up for Lola The Manager, coming in now. What's good? What's good? What's good?
Oh, what's up? That introduction, I'm gonna need that from you.
I'm getting my Shannon Sharp on,
Yeah.
Sharp. Getting my intro work going as I get more of these guest appearances. But what's going on with you, man?
You know me. I keep busy, creating content, work, looking for more projects, looking for more investments, coming up with new ideas, trying to take over the world. It's a lot.
Yeah. It is. You make it look more chill than it is. When we finally got a chance to like talk about it, actually, I was just like, wait. Like, working with actual project managers in my role at work, I'm just like, yo, if you're doing this for more than one project, bro, you're kind of like stretched thin.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. And obviously I gave the intro, but go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people what they should know and what they want to know about you.
So when it comes to the project management thing, I've been doing that for, what are we in, 2024, about 5 years. Got certified about 2 years ago. Once I realized that I could lock in there and start making some coins, we're gonna go ahead and get certified real quick. But just been doing that. And for those that are interested, my specialty is marketing, project management, and IT. So I'm part of like all those software development teams. Very fun stuff over there. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna get into it. But when it comes to the investing, I just took the IT money, flip it, or invest it in another way. That's all we're doing. It's find a lane, take it, flip it, and keep it going. That's kind of all I've been doing. And then just staying out the way, honestly.
Staying out the way, aka traveling and doing the whole nine and doing all of that. What's going on, Julia Silva? Okay, my bad. I'm like tripping. What's going on? Thank you for the shout outs. So just to let you know, as everyone is and I should probably explain this more often just so everyone knows when they're tuning in to VividLife TV. But since we're streaming live on Twitch and YouTube, I can pull in comments from both platforms. So we can see Julia Silva is on Twitch. For my people that are tuned in via YouTube, I always invite y'all to comment, to drop something in the chat, to say what's up. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I know y'all be bashful. I always want to also know if you guys are tuned in on a laptop, if you're tuned in on your phone, if you're casting on the TV. I've seen people cast it on the TV before. And as I always say, y'all, just tag me in something. Let me see how you watch the show. Let me see how you watch the stream, because that's kind of dope. I like the feeling of being on y'all TV. So please help my ego as I go through these. Anybody that's been live before, and I feel like this is a little bit of a pivot because I want to come back to something you said. But I feel like when people talk about going live, they make it seem like you press the live button and 200 people show up. And then you're sitting there and talking to 200 people. And shout out to Bright Light, because he was the one that told me, like, nah, bro, like, you're going to do it. And it's a couple times you're going to be talking to yourself. Like, streaming is tough stuff, bro. It is very, very difficult, but, you got to stay with it. And you're now streaming on TikTok, and you don't like it. I don't think you don't like it, but
it's a bit nerve-wracking. We came from the radio world, so you never had to worry about seeing people. And since all of us were friends in the studio, it just felt like conversations with your friends. So you didn't have to worry about the visuals. But now, with going on the TikTok or the YouTube or Twitch or all these other platforms, it's a little nerve-wracking because, like, now I have to, like, show my face. And then, your feelings may get hurt if you're seeing how many people are actually in the live at real time. It's just like, oh, you got one person. Oh, it's zero. Oh, it's 2 more people. Oh, you're back at 0. And then you got to keep the same energy. It's a lot. It's a lot to get your mind in the.
And it's funny. It's funny because I remember when I was talking to you in the summer about going live on TikTok. I was like, man, you got 1,000 followers. You tripping. You need to do that, man. You go live. It'll be straight. And then TikTok monetized me, and they're like, yeah, you can go live. And I'm like, I'll be in there, and I'm like, yo, what's up? Such and such. Welcome to the. They're already gone. Okay, like, all right. And honestly, you made a good point about the radio thing, and I think that's something that I definitely thought about at one period of time too. It's like, they have that old phrase of, like, you have a face made for radio, which is a very shady way of saying you're ugly, right? Mm-hmm. But we, like, with radio, it was like you didn't have to worry about the look. Like, back then when we were doing it, the GoodKnocking days, this was 2010, 2013. Like, we would be lucky if someone had a DSLR camera that could, like, be in there capturing content and stuff like that. But I think the most important thing is that no one knew you were having a bad night. Not only, like, physically in the studio, but they couldn't see your numbers. When you're listening to the radio, you don't know how many people are also tuned in with you. Mm-hmm. Whereas with this streaming thing, that number, boy, that number is gonna humble you. Like, you come in.
It's there to keep you humble, honestly.
Bruh, like, you be in there talking to yourself with one number in the top. Hey, man, so I know a lot of people want to know. It's like, bro.
And it's like, who are the people? Say their names. Say their names.
There's a lot of people in the room with us right now. Like, what are you talking about? But you just gotta roll with it. You gotta just roll with it. So yeah, man. But like I said, we were co-hosts on this show called GoodKnocking Radio many, many eons ago, which is crazy because now it is legitimately to the point, like, we've officially gotten to the point, and I'm kind of happy about this. I'm not gonna lie. We've officially got to the point where when you Google GoodKnocking Radio, nothing really comes up anymore. I'm kind of glad about that.
Yeah, I kind of am too.
Yeah, it's a way of kind of being like, all right, so it's officially, like, that chapter is officially, like, in the past. And, it's just memories. I would love to have had more of it, but talk I guess introduce your side of it, because I feel like maybe I talk about it enough, but introduce your side of it and what, talk about your role in GoodKnocking, and then maybe how that kind of translated into future tense and where you are now.
Yeah. So when it comes to GoodKnocking, I always tell people that I was the mastermind behind it all. I'm the reason why. The reason why we actually worked. But no. When Alex came to me about it, and he was just like, "Yo, I'm doing this show. I want you on there." Cool. It was nothing. I mean, like, this is my friend asking me to get on the show. I've never done radio. My major at the time was criminology. Like, why not do something else? You get what I'm saying? And it's interesting how I'm in the role that I'm in now as a project manager, because you could say that's what I did for the show. That's why I say I joke around and say I'm the mastermind. I was the one that was like, hey, let's get these outlines, let's get it structured, let's make sure everybody knows their role, what they have to do. Do you have your part? Do you have your part? You understand where you come in, down to the instrumentals that was playing in the background or during the break. Like, I was making sure that we had everything on point as a whole. And I don't know why I did that. No one told us we needed to have that type of structure to run the show. But if you see how I work now, and if you understand what project managers do, we manage projects, we manage, make sure things get done.
Right.
It all makes sense as to why I was so detailed and why, everything was structured the way that it was. And I enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed doing that. It was never bothersome for me to do. Before you can ask me, where's the outline? You already received it. And all that I learned in that space from marketing, because that's what actually got me into marketing, is still with me now, years later, as I do marketing projects. And I'm part of those different teams and stuff. So yeah, and I think we also had a website, right? And so
We did. We did.
We had a website. So, and I think I was more so making sure that everyone knew what their role was for the website and contributed whatever they needed to the website. And I do the same thing now on those software development type of teams. So it's so interesting how at that time I never knew a project manager existed when I was doing radio. And then to see where I'm at now, it's like almost as if it was always designed for me to get here eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, it's like, now that we're so far gone from that, and I've done podcasts, I've guest hosted on podcasts, people have asked me to produce their podcasts, and I've like, there's been all kinds of like roles that I've kind of fallen into. And every time I've done one of those projects, I'm just like, I mean, at the core basic of anything you do production wise or marketing wise, if you can't get the outline right, you don't really have a show. And I realized way after the fact of like, that was a skill that from a creative standpoint or just a marketing standpoint, right? Because when we did radio, all of us had really good ears. Like, we had our ears in the streets. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what's being talked about on our college campus. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to spin it. We're going to talk about this. Here are 7 questions we're going to use to drive the conversation forward. This. We're going to pivot. We're going to do that. And then to have the outline like built out. And I think I probably only showed you how to do the outline maybe once or twice. Yeah. And then it became like clockwork. I think the day to have the outlines was like a Friday or a Thursday or something like that. And then we would have like our interns. We would have our interns printing them out on Sunday night, be like, oh, you trying to join the team. Listen, you're going to need to use your prints to bring all of the outlines. You need one for DJ Brightlight, Oso Tay, Lola, and Alex. Don't come to the studio without it. Like, yeah. And we would, but like, that really was like project management for real, like to the point of like being able to do that, being able to delegate all of it and everything like that. And I always feel like every time I think of Lola the Manager, I'm just like, bro, you kind of like, you just kind of flip the omelet from that to what you do now. Cause, you know, you know, we're going to talk about this part too. Once you left the team, it was like, bro, what you mean you don't have my outline though? Like, what do you mean you're trying to join the team, but you don't have my outline? Like, it became like Suge Knight real quick. Like,
Right.
Get out of here and don't come back.
Man, that I knew that was gonna be tough. I knew that was gonna be tough. We can definitely take it there when you're ready.
I mean,
you know.
let's take it there. I mean, I'm cool. We had our conversation last year, and I feel like that was the most important conversation to be had. So I'm cool. I'm cool if you cool.
Yeah, that's why we laughing now, because we already
exactly. Which I didn't know how people were gonna respond to. All right, so let me just piggyback for a little second, because in the era following your departure, and we could talk about that too. You can go into that. But in that era after, for a good amount of time, there was like, I think we talked about this last year, there was a lot of questions. Like a lot of questions about like, yo, what happened? Like, what happened? I see y'all walk by each other. What happened? And it was like kind of tough, because it was just like, I don't know, bro. Like, I really don't know what happened, but the show goes on, you know, like it was, you know. But yeah.
True. The show definitely went on. Did it go on with perfection? You know.
I mean, we did good. We did well. I actually think. Do I want to hold on? Let me not skip, because I do want to talk about. You got to tell the people why you left.
Right now, you want to know why I left?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last year.
Yeah, we can do that. So for those that didn't know, I feel like my last year in GoodKnocking, so we started in 2010 and I left. We started fall 2010. I left spring 2013. So that was after 2 years. So maybe like 2.5 years in there. That's a long time.
Wow.
But in the last year of it, I was pretty much what I call on like a spiritual journey, trying to find myself, trying to figure stuff out. Because I didn't know what I was doing with myself, my life, or anything, honestly. And from doing that, I was wrestling with being on the show. So that's what was happening. So the team knew that I was on this journey. It's not like the journey came out of nowhere. Like, you remember Martin when he joined that call, and everybody like, where you found them? You get what I'm saying? Like, they knew, they were fully on board with me trying to figure out life as a college kid, and they were, I say, flexible for the most part, because it was really like, I don't really know how I'm navigating right now. I'm figuring this out, and y'all rocking with me. But then it got to a point where it felt like I had to decide. I had to kind of pick, like, am I going to focus on this walk, or am I going to focus on the show? Because it felt like I had to pick. Because I was even, the team would tell you, I was not engaging in some of the conversations because I was uncomfortable. So I'm like, but I don't want to leave. So it's like, I'll be here, but not really engage, which now makes the show weird, because it's like, what's wrong with her? Why is she acting a certain type of way? Is there issues with the team? And there is no issue with the team. That's what was crazy. There was no like issue with a person. It was just me trying to figure out how to navigate this. Let Light tell it. I joined a cult and I left everything. Like, that's why we don't interview him, okay?
Yeah. I mean,
that really was the gist of it. It was me trying to figure it out, and then finally it just came to the point where I pulled the plug on being part of the show. And because we were young and didn't really know how to have conversations.
Navigate those conversations.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? It got really personal really fast. And I constantly tell people, like, we weren't just random people that auditioned to be on the show. We were friends. So we were friends doing business together. It was a hobby that turned into a business real fast. And then it's like, okay, well, I want to be out of the business part, but we could still be friends, but we don't know how to communicate that. So it just got real messy really fast. And
Yeah, I mean, it didn't get messy of like, it didn't get messy to the point of like F GoodKnocking and everybody that rocked with him. It didn't get like that. It was just more like the conversation just had not been had, and then time killed.
that was
Not
the
killed,
mess.
but time just let it decay and rot
Yeah.
and rot and rot. And
Yeah,
like
that
as you're saying that, as you were kind of telling that story about like the last year, I'm also remembering. I feel like every time I remember this, something that y'all brought to my attention last year is the fact that like we don't all remember everything the same way. Like that era of college for all of us was different, but the number one thing we all had in common was like all of us had a lot going on. It was a lot of pressure. There's whole windows of time that none of us remembered. We just remember doing the show and that was it. Like, oh yeah, I remember that show, but I don't remember what was going on in my life other than college struggle, right? But I also think that if you remember, we got off of the college radio station and then we built our own radios, our own web series, very, very much like this. And when we did that, it's kind of like what you always say when people say, like, once you turn something into like money, it becomes like it's no longer a hobby. So like we went from friends doing a hobby to like friends, bro, we can make money off this. Like there's something to be had in this whole thing. And then I think it got larger than all of us kind of imagined, while we were all kind of like, oh yeah, hey, look, I don't know if y'all remember, but we're in school and our 4 and 5 year timeline is coming up. So I don't know if y'all plan on graduating, but we all need to figure that out very soon. But at the same time, like you and I hosted the homecoming carnival 2012. And it was like we did that to put ourselves like up. So it was like the pressure just kept getting higher and higher and higher. And I think for me, like the personal part of it wasn't so much of like, oh, I'm mad at you because you had this transition. I think a lot of the personal part was just like it. And I think where it went wrong was like, oh, I kind of need you, like not only as a business partner, but I also need you as a friend. And it was like, oh, I don't really want to do this with someone who has to audition because they don't get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna get it. And we did casting calls.
How was that?
we did casting calls. GoodKnocking was a very like what, you know, we did the reunion last year, we did the golden years, but like post the golden years, GoodKnocking was very, very interesting because a lot of it was stuff that like had we done it, it would have been amazing, right? I ended up building a radio station. It had 24-hour music and rotations and start getting ready to sell ads, and the station hit 50,000. But it was just like it was like an emptiness to it where it was just like, without a team, this doesn't really, like, this is a thing, but without a team, like it doesn't make sense. And you know, oftentimes we would have a audition, we would have a casting call, we'd get hosts, and it was just like, because I was coaching on how to be a host, I wasn't hosting. And I was like, bro, like what's going on? And then of course there's other things that happened with it, you know, personal shit. And you got to it was like, all right. And eventually, like 2020, I was just like, I think I'm just ready for like a new chapter, bro. So yeah, it was interesting, but we were young, bro. 2021.
Yeah.
We thought we were grown, but we were.
Don't know what we were doing, but it was definitely a story you're gonna always tell, because it just, there was nothing like it. And so yeah, that's the story. I feel like people thought it was some type of juiciness to it. Like, no, we was real friends. So
Yeah.
it was just once all that, and then it's so funny because last year when we all reunited, that's the first time we had our conversation. That was the first time me and Alex spoke. People don't know that.
Yeah.
I chat with everybody, like as far as like you see them, you check in, you're on social media, but Alex and I didn't speak since I left the show. So it was.
And it wasn't like, for me, it wasn't personal. It was just like, it got to a point where eventually it was just like, well, I don't really know what's going on there, but like, you know, you're heading in this direction. Like, you're just going to kind of keep on going. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like that way. I don't know about how you feel, but I kind of feel like that way a lot with a lot of like USF stuff. It's kind of like, all right, like, okay, y'all are doing that. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just, my commitment to just being nostalgic all the time is not really there. GoodKnocking is probably the one thing that I talk about from the past where you'll see a little bit of gleam in my eye. I might get a little excited. I might start spitting when I talk and stuff like that. Like, yo, we was kings. Like, I might get a little excited when I talk about GoodKnocking, but like, outside of that, I actually prefer if people don't talk to me about college at all. And unfortunately, whenever I'm around our good friends and brothers and sisters from the University of South Florida, I'm like, nigga, how much more can we talk about Bulls Club? Like, how many more conversations can we have about this club that is now a Mr. and Mrs. Krabs? Like, let's just move on. So,
that's nice difference. No, I didn't know that it switched to that.
Yeah, man. You gotta catch up on your Tampa. I don't feel like you really took in Tampa last year when you came.
I'm thinking about coming for homecoming this year.
Bless your heart.
So I might try to see what's going on in the neighborhood.
You should just come to Tampa and then be like, oh, I didn't even know it was homecoming. Like, that's what most people do anyway. Like,
yes, I might do that.
All right, let me know if you pop out. I should be here, but give me 1 second. I'm getting a little bit of latency here, and all of my screens are frozen as I try to. It's tough when your computer start breathing hard. So, all right, there we go. All right, cool. But yeah, hold on 1 second here. All right, y'all. So as y'all know, this live stream happens every Wednesday night. So I just want to make sure that y'all are aware of the fact that there are episodes for you to catch up on. Be sure to check up on my last live stream from September 11th, True Crime versus Horror. Subscribe for more live streams, vlogs, and videos that are coming. I'm really excited about October just because of the simple fact that having conversations with folks like Lola and so many other people, we're all always talking. I'm almost entirely talking about content creation, business, marketing, plugging things in. So it's always productive conversations, and there's a lot coming to the YouTube channel in the month of October because I have been on a hiatus from Instagram, and I have learned to just appreciate not what's the word? Not feeding the algorithm, not feeding the timeline, and more actually creating like long form content that just speaks more to information than just like the kind of in between riff-raff, rigmarole. Like, I don't want to call it BS, but just understanding like what the life cycle of content got to be, right? You have long form content, and you're doing this now because you have a vlog where you're kind of doing episodal type stuff with the project management stuff, right? Where it's like you can take that long form content, post it to YouTube, and then take the clips and then kind of breadcrumb it in other places and things like that. So tell us a little bit about the episodes and the vlog that you're doing now.
So I created a series on YouTube called Life as a Project Manager. So if you follow me on TikTok, at Lola The Manager, you'll see that I talk all things project management. I answer questions. It's a lot of questions that I answer, honestly. And then anything that comes to mind, I'll share it. And so I felt like I needed a longer form to put content out there because I only had 10 minutes and there was way more things that I wanted to say. And honestly, on TikTok, it's like FaceTime. So I'm going off the dome. Like,
Right.
but me, I love an outline. So
Right.
I love an outline. So now I go the YouTube series Life as a Project Manager is to really kind of teach people what I'm actually doing. There's so many people that's interested in the career. And yes, you can go study for the certification, but the problem that people are facing is they really don't even know what they're actually doing at work. They don't know how to think like a project manager. They don't know how to handle different type of projects, different type of questions. So I created this series to kind of walk you through like, hey, this is, I started off kind of talking about how I got into it, lay that foundation and then kind of walk through the questions. And then I take, the repurposing. So taking some questions from TikTok that I know are long form answers, bringing that to the YouTube, and then taking questions from YouTube to figure out what do I want to drop next. I did have a hiatus because I was working too hard. I bossed up a little too hard that burnout, took center stage.
Yeah.
So I the last long form post was in May. However, we're picking back up in October, so the videos are already ready, edited, and ready to go live. But what's been keeping the page active, the YouTube channel active, and how I've been able to get subscribers this whole time is repurposing the long form content. So all those other videos from the YouTube series, turn those into shorts. And so that's keeping, the page active, which I'm so thankful for. And I'm ready to kind of get back and put some more long form out there because there's so much I wanted to share. But, if it's you versus burnout, you're going to lose every time. Every time. You're going to lose every
Quotable. And you talked about it being like your industry being both marketing and IT. So from a burnout standpoint, you're kind of making reference to the fact that sometimes you have projects in both industries at the same time.
Correct. So I do a lot of contract work. So you can work multiple contracts as long as you're not violating anything in that agreement. Okay. So you can work multiple contracts, and a lot of the times my contracts are different. So I'll be doing an IT one, and then I'll be doing a marketing one. And at the IT company, that contract may consist of multiple IT projects, as well as marketing may consist of multiple. So now I'm like overworking. And to be honest, I always tell people I don't think my industry is that intense if you're just at one contract or one job and you have a manageable load. But now once you start adding multiple contracts, you don't even have a chance to breathe. And so we're in September. Last contract I worked ended in August. I was working at one point this year 5 contracts at a time. And so the balancing and even just the way your brain has to switch back and forth from the two industries, that's, and then I'm switching from different industries, but I'm also switching from the types of projects. And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds because y'all can go look at the videos on my YouTube and my TikTok, but there's like different ways to manage projects. And because I'm having these different contracts, I'm using like 5 different brains, and it becomes overwhelming and burnt out, and you squeeze yourself. And I'm kind of happy I did it because I know once you reach that like limit, you're like, okay, so we could never go back up to that again. Like we can't go to 5. We can't do 5. We might could do 2, maybe 3, but we can't go. The 4 and 5s is where it's like you're pulling out hair.
Yeah, but the hard part about burnout is like, this is a little. I want everybody's input on this if you're watching this, because I have a hot take on burnout, which is that you actually never really recover from it, yo. Like, you really don't ever feel recovered from burnout. Boom, you take the vacation, right? You go on the vacation, you relax, and if that project is not done, like if you didn't take the vacation at the end of the project and you go back in to that project, you're gonna turn around and start clawing at the door, yo. Like, it gets so.
I agree 1,000%. And the last trip that I just took, where I went on vacation for 2 weeks, was at the end of the contract. And right now I'm not doing a contract, which is why I'm able to get the YouTube back, because I'm out here batching content. I'm batching content. Putting everything where it needs to be, so that when I do pick up another contract, we're not going to be behind, because I'm putting the efforts now. But you're right. I honestly said, if I came back from that trip and had to jump right back into work, I'm not recovering. I'm calling this time right now my burnout recovery period, because
Yeah.
I'm really taking things slow. Like, it really takes a lot to get back to yourself after exerting all of that. Like, I gave everything that I had, almost didn't even make it to the end of that contract, type of thing. So yeah, no, I completely agree. And I would like to hear what other people have to say about that, because unless you like completely take a break,
Yeah.
like you take the vacation and then take a break from the vacation and then take a break from that,
and then have like a preseason break. Like, oh, I know I got another 2 contracts coming. Let me take an extra break before, like, and nobody lives like that. Nobody works like that. So it's like, it be hard, yo. Like, before I went to Europe in the summer, I mean, I work in sales, right? So I'm more on the consultative side, where it's like, I'm basically a project manager managing all of the resources that have to come together for a sale to happen. I write the quote, cool. They call me a salesperson, but like, I got to get this IT guy with this IT guy together. I got to like teach people how to put together a team to really be on some, like, all right, I need the 5 of y'all on every single call. Like, if you're not going to be on this call at the same time, we need to know that beforehand. We need to make sure the recordings are there. And it's like, man, I closed a big contract in I think May, and I was like, yo, you good. I was like,
that's funny. Go ahead.
yeah, I was like crawling to the finish line, and then was gone for 2 weeks and came right back in, and everything I delegated in my absence, you already know, they ain't do nothing. I was like,
of course.
So like, I came back from a 2-week vacation and came back into like that whole rigmarole that got me burnt out in the first place, which is why, like I said, I just say, like, unless you're set up to have all of those kinds of breaks consecutively around each other. And I mean, you're talking 5 projects. I have 300 accounts in my role. Now, all of them don't have big projects, but like at one time right now, I think I have 10 projects, which is just 10 sales. Like, I get excited because I see the dollar amount, but it's still like, okay, we got to make sure I remember all the conditionals in him, because he works in government. So that's going to be different. Like, the whole piece that you were talking about with the brain having to switch, I definitely relate to that, because government contracts are insanity. You know what I'm saying? So it just takes a lot of just different approaches to it. But with you, what would you say is the number one? Because I think I see this question a lot on your TikTok. What is the number one skill someone needs to have? Number one skill and the number one soft skill that somebody needs to have if they're interested in being a project manager?
I feel, this is a good one. Number one skill, I'd probably say people management. You just got to be good at managing people. That's really what project management is. Like, this project doesn't exist unless the people do the work. So managing people, which means you're good at communicating and doing those different things. As far as soft skills, which I feel like it's hard to teach this, but the time management part, like being able to like manage your time so you can manage the project time. That's, I feel like those are like essential skills. And you're going to see it in every interview. In every interview, they're going to ask you, like, how do you manage the time, the workload, the competing deadlines? They're going to ask you all. That's like a guaranteed question in every project manager interview. And I've done mock interviews with people, and they would literally say, yeah, I would just like talk to everyone, and then see what to do, what they want me to do. And it's like, no, you're actually the one that should be telling everyone what they're supposed to do based off of how you manage your time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Like, honestly, I don't even. I mean, yes, I would say very much quarterback, because that's the captain of the team, and you should know everybody's role. Which is why sometimes I say we're like the coach, because if you know everybody's role and you are the one that created the playbook, then obviously time management, communication, all of that is going to play a part in order for us to win the game, let alone make a touchdown. Like, are we gonna meet a deadline? We don't know. if the coach is an airhead and finessed the interview and made a fake resume, then we're kind of stuck.
Oh man, have you been seeing that at all?
Yes, I've seen it with other project managers that are they're not on my project team, but we're on the PMO, like the project management office. And they would just deer in headlights certain things. And, you people ping you on the side, like, hey, like, what do you think about the workload? It's fine. The workload is fine. What's the problem? You've been here longer than me. And, people be getting by until somebody come through and actually work. Now it's like, you get what I'm saying? So now it's like, hey, how's your workload going? It's fine. Oh, can you help me with? I don't really know about that. You may want to go talk to the big dogs. I just know my stuff. I'm not about to take on your projects. You get what I'm saying? But people don't know. And then even the comments that I get, that's what birthed life as a project manager. So you can see what's happening day to day. So you're not, everybody's looking at you for the next play, and you're kind of like, oh my God, does the GM have the playbook? Like, can somebody else throw me an audible?
I had a playbook player.
Like, you get what I'm saying? So that's how I feel. I seen it. My comments are proof of it, that people truly don't know what to do.
You mean comments on your TikTok and your videos and stuff like that?
On the TikToks, even on the YouTube, like the comments are them like, I wish I had this when I started, or can you talk more about this? Like, how do you know? Like, I've gotten so many questions about, like, how do you start the project? That's insane. They hired you to do the project. You said you don't know how to start. You know what I'm saying? And this is not to like make fun of people, but it's just to show like there's no real training on how to function day to day, because every company has a different way in which they do projects. So I feel like I'm just trying to give everyone a baseline to work with, so that you have something to use, some type of template, some type of starting point, and then you go from there. But to get hired to manage projects and you're like, I don't know how to start the project, then people are going to look at you crazy. You're going to get fired.
I don't know how, like, I don't know how to be in a situation like that without my armpits being wet. Like, without me just being like, we gonna have a kickoff call. I don't know how to be in a situation like that. I don't know how to lie that well. Like, I'm not a good liar like that at all. So
that's what I'm saying. So what people are taking the courses and to get the certification, you're learning about projects as a whole and the cycle, but you literally don't know what step one is going to be. The certification doesn't teach you what step one is. It teaches you, hey, this is the life cycle that your projects are going to go through.
So you got to go apply it on your own. You got to learn and figure out how to apply it.
So you got to really like master how that is. And then now, you know, you get brought onto a company that's doing a new software and they're like, okay, so we want to build this new finance app. And you're like, okay, awesome. What do you want to do? The people, they're going to be like, you need to tell us what to do. Like, how we going to do it?
So are you maybe I should use this for the latter part of the conversation, but I think we're kind of getting to the thickness of the conversation on you and the project management. But you get a lot of questions, you get a lot of requests, you get a lot of emails, you get a lot of traction with your project management content. And I'm always just looking at it like, when is she gonna pop it off? Are you opening the Lola Academy of project management? Are you opening, the boot camp? Are you what are you gonna finally give the people?
And so here's what's funny. When life was lifing with all these projects, people are like, hey, do you have a mentorship? Hey, do you have are you doing coaching? And the excuse that I had at the time was, I don't have time, because I literally didn't have time. And then now that I'm in my burnout recovery season, I don't want to use my time to do that yet. That's just the honest truth. However, I did open my calendar to start doing one-on-ones. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I think you gotta pace yourself. What's for you is always going to be for you. There's no need to rush. There's no need to do too much. So I did open my calendar, and I currently offer one-on-ones to pick my brain. That's how I was able to do like mock interviews and people that don't know how to start the project. So they hit me up like, hey, this is what the job gave me. How do I start the project? So you can pretty much pick my brain on anything project management wise. I also open to do VIP days. So that's available pretty much. A VIP day is where, for those people that are like, I want to get into project management, what do I need to do as far as like the resume, the whatever schooling you need to get, how to navigate the space. So I do that. A VIP day is like literally an 8-hour day where it's all you. And then what else I have? I think I also just added a level up strategy session to that for those that are just trying to figure out like how to be me, how to level up. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm working on the literal coaching groups and the mentorship things. Not looking for perfection. I'm just taking my time in developing and building something like that out. So fingers crossed, 2025 will have that. I did start, getting I had an email list. I'll open it back up again for people that are interested in project management to get the sign up. So you'll be the first to know when I drop that. I do have a nonprofit, so there are projects there. You get an opportunity to kind of volunteer for those projects, because that's what you really need to do if you don't know where to start. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, I haven't taken off because I'm just like, I work. Like it looked like I'd be chilling, but I be working. I really do. I don't know why.
The life of a project manager. I look like I'm chilling, but this is just like a coffee break. This is just like a mental break for me to take a break on. And I also think that people you forget that, like, when you're not in a contributor role, like your life is basically following up on action items and having meetings, which when your life is like that, it's great. Shout out to y'all that live like that. But yeah, it's very much like I'm in between things. So yeah, I can grab my phone for 2 minutes and just do a quick video and then keep it pedaling. So yeah, I feel you on that. But I look forward to it, man. seeing the folks in your comments on YouTube and on TikTok, I'm like, that is a level of engagement that's like should be pretty worthy of the fact that like the information you're saying is like solid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we will look forward to that. I look forward to that. And then my last question is just what I need a project manager, dog. I got some video projects I'm trying to do this, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Well, I'm just saying. So see this first, I just want to really remind people networking is gonna get you so far. Okay, networking is what's gonna get you far. Because the amount of people that has asked me, hey Lola, do you have any projects that I can volunteer on? And now you have video projects. You get what I'm saying? So if you network with me and I understand what you got going on, then I would have been able to, pass that connection or assisted you on that project. And that's the type of things that I want to do. I want to create that type of space. So of course I'm always I'm one call away, down to always doing a project. Like I'm always down for a project. My brain, it just works that way. Like
I'm gonna drop the QR code for the Discord channel, because we do have the Discord channel where there's a lot of networking going on in there. There's a lot of conversations even in there where I am getting ready to start putting out the projects. I foresee this kind of working where it's like there are some small projects where it's just like, all right, just a day where I go out and I just shoot content, right? And whoever wants to ride along, kind of just a very impromptu in real life stuff. And then there's also the projects that's just like, hey, I'm still waiting to hear back from Tampa International Airport, like about what they require of us if we want to do a video shoot there. And that's the projects where it's like, okay, like, that's much bigger vision. And I can't wrap my head around like this guy said this and then he did, like it's just hard, And I was talking to
we could do that. I could do that in my sleep. That's nothing. Even the big projects, it's really nothing. Now from just this stream and TikTok alone, I got a whole team ready to work on some projects.
Okay, because you know me, I just care about the creative. I just want to get there and then take my shades off and be like, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. I don't all of that, that my brain has always been in the creative space and just in like the execution. It has not been on, the paperwork, yes, right? Paperwork is important. But like once the paperwork is greenlit, or once we get the no or the yes, like my brain just moves to, all right, they said no, the next plan. Like I'm still not at that place where I'm just like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this. Because trying to write a treatment for the video and then also trying to write the email to be like, can we do the video at your location? Can we do it or not? Okay, Jonathan, like, can we do it or not? Like, I just need to get, bro.
It's a process, but I like the behind the scenes. I think project management are for the people that like to be behind the scenes, meaning you don't have to do the legal work, but you like to coordinate and make sure it all works out. I definitely understand.
And the last bit on this is like, you just don't really realize, like, it sometimes they kind of make project management seem like it's so specific to a certain industry. And it's like, nah, like there's so many roles that are project managers that just don't carry the title project manager. Unfortunately, some people kind of get placed in these roles where it's like, oh, you're a coordinator or you're a this. And it's just like, bro, so much of that is project management. So
why I tell people, as long as you understand what project management is, you'll always be able to get a job. Two things: the PMP, that certification, it's globally recognized and it's used in every industry. So there's opportunities to make money in the US and internationally. Like there's tons of projects. Two, if you, like I said, if you understand the breakdown of it, of like the fundamental parts of project management, there's a million different roles, different titles you can have. And you're still getting the same amount of money. You're still doing the same type of work. It's just a different name.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and we gotta make sure gotta make sure I plug you in real quick. We're gonna do this one. Y'all make sure to follow Lola on TikTok and subscribe on YouTube. Her YouTube channel is popping with a lot of this information. I've digested some of it myself. I actually clicked on the USF project management program. I was gonna ask you for like what because you didn't go to USF. You went to what school did you do the project management cert at? No, you didn't do it
Well,
at school.
that's not a school. You don't need the certification. Isn't attached to a school. It's attached to an institute. So you just apply through the institute to get the certification. But
Yeah.
I studied for the exam on a Udemy course. That's what prepped me for the exam. Now, what prepped me for the work, I already did the work. So I did like I did a Google cert to make sure I understood like the fundamentals of like what the process is. And I'm like, oh, I already do all this. This is just the actual name of it. Cool. And then was rocking ever since.
So basically I got by a USF ad that saw that I've been engaging with your content. And I just wanted to see, I was just like, damn, USF got a project management certification program. That's what's up. Let me go check it out. And now that you're saying it, I kind of clicked on it. And then of course they start soliciting you and stuff because I forgot to uncheck the one box about marketing. And I don't think you said PMP?
Yeah, nobody gives the PMP except for that institute.
That institution.
That's the only place you can. So you can, all these schools and companies, they can have a class, a certificate that's cute, but it is not,
it's not the PMP.
Official. Yeah, it's not that PMP one.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely not. Definitely not. It's a little cute little USF project manageable certification. Something like that. Let me not rag on them, but they go get me.
Not too much on the alma mater. Not too much.
Yeah, I mean, my bad. Listen. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. There's a lot going on. So we got to go into these topics on the docket because every day in the month of September has had major breaking news that is just like crazy stuff. Like, I'm going to say 3 things that happened this month, and it's going to feel like it happened so long ago. Rich homie Quan passed away. That feels like it was already a long time ago. Fat Man Scoop died after collapsing on stage. That already feels like that was 3-4 weeks ago. James Earl Jones passed away. That already feels like it was weeks ago. And now this Diddy situation is just drowning the news media. We also had the presidential debate. There was also another assassination attempt on Trump. Like, every day there is a news story that's like, we used to get one of these stories like once a quarter. Now it is every day. But I'm gonna kind of touch on the big one, kind of, which is Diddy, because they are saying that there is a lot of implications on this, a lot. And I want to see what your thoughts on, because I don't know if you heard about, like, number one, he got arrested at a hotel in New York, in Brooklyn. Very law and order SVU. They just walked up to him, kind of was like, yo, let's just go ahead and go this way. I know you were going this way, but let's go this way. Took him in. And now, he's facing basically charges for sex trafficking, racketeering. Racketeering is the big one, honestly. Like, forget everything else. The racketeering and the sex trafficking is the biggest thing. Everything else that I've been seeing on social media has just been like people wanting to get their jokes off, but like that's the big thing, right? So what are your thoughts on that, on Diddy and getting his charges?
So I feel like it's not surprising that these came about, given what we already got earlier in the year with the Cassie situation. Because situation opened the door for this to happen, and then also it invited us into the conversation because she shared so much in that lawsuit.
Yeah.
Um, and so I wasn't surprised that's what he got charged with. And then also, it's it sounds bad to say, but it all sounds believable. Like
Yeah.
it's it's like if somebody tells you right now, yeah, Obama was caught with 10 pounds of cocaine or something like that, you're like, what? Like, we barely see that man with a joint in his hand. What are you?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's too far fetched. But when you're hearing all the things stacked up against Diddy, I understand innocent till proven guilty, but everything that's being stacked up seems believable. Like it's believable for him. It's
Yeah.
believable for him. Given what we known over the years. We're 90s kids. So we grew up listening to his music. We grew up knowing about the Bad Boys and Death Row. We grew up knowing about the J-Lo Shine shooting incident. We know, like, we grew up with
Yo,
all that. You get what I'm
I,
saying?
I'm I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like there for every, what's the saying they say that like every criminal returns to the scene of the crime or something like that. I think that's the saying. And I'm not saying that he's returning to the scene of the crime, but I definitely think that when you look at all of the guys in industries, whatever the case may be, who end up having these kind of situations happen to them, right? The number one thing that you always will find is that something happened before, right? They got off, and them getting off on the thing the first time kind of gets them to this point of like, I can do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like it becomes like, Diddy, you have all these videos of him like throwing stuff down and I'm a savage. And it's like, bro, in 1999, you were not talking like that. When your relationship with J-Lo was on the line, when you had to throw Shine under the bus, all those things, like you weren't talking like, oh, I'm a savage. So I think it kind of like creates this sentiment of like, I got away with one thing, I can get away with a lot.
Of course.
And when you look at, my bad, when you look at R. Kelly, it's actually the same thing. R. Kelly had a whole song with Jay-Z and a whole album called Innocent Until Proven Guilty. And bro, you were guilty, dog. Like OJ Simpson had a whole book called If I Would Have Done It. And then he goes to rob people to go get his stuff back, right? And it's just like Bill Cosby was like, after his first charge, he was just like, oh yeah, I got off on that. And then boom, he gets. So I think it's like and someone I was talking to over the weekend made a good point of like, we have been watching this and almost enabling it for the last like 20 years. And it's crazy because when somebody says like, oh, you need to do this in order to keep your record deal, how is that any different from someone saying you need to go get me this cheesecake on the other side of town, or I won't give you this? It's the same behavior. So it's just like you said, like it's believable, unfortunately. And my thing with it is like, man, you're someone who came from the hood, you came from poverty, like you genuinely like brought yourself out of a certain kind of circumstance only to become a person who creates those circumstances for other people. And so we talk about Black excellence and things like that. And it's just like, now, I don't know if this one's excellent, dog. It seems pretty Black grimy. It's crazy. And I know for sure. Did you read any of the lawsuit documents?
No, I just get my TikTok recaps. I'm not reading 50 pages. I'm sorry. If I don't have a paper to write, I am not reading all that unless it's for like pleasure reading, leisure.
Yeah. I saw the screenshots on the timeline, and I read all the documents. I didn't realize it was like 14 pages, but like he knew it was coming. Like,
yeah,
how in April, go ahead.
I wanted to point this out. Like, one, when you said that he pretty much felt invincible. Like, the more you were able to get away with, the more you're gonna do, right?
Right.
And it's like, when now, you know, what is it? What they say, foresight is 2020.
Yeah.
When Diddy was accepting that lifetime achievement award, and
Mm.
he mentioned Cassie out the blue. It was as if, like, it was so out the blue, but we didn't understand what that meant. We just looked at it as if, like, why are you thanking the girl?
Right.
And then when the Cassie thing came out, I personally felt like, the way I interpreted it, I felt like that lawsuit came out, and then I immediately thought about how he randomly called her out, and I felt like he already knew in advance this lawsuit was coming. You didn't care. You didn't care. This is another one of many. We're gonna get past this.
Right.
But reality hit when you paid that $30 million before
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
paid it before end of day. One, the big wigs, I personally think, because I think that when we look at Diddy, and this is not to excuse any behavior, when we look at Diddy, understand that he didn't start the music industry. He didn't start
Right.
the music industry. So he had to be introduced to it in some capacity. And for him to even keep his role, he has to go ahead and become a predator to others. Like, go continue that cycle of abuse. For him to continue to keep his role. That's my, like, thought and assessment of it. And I feel like when he paid her off, I don't think he personally wanted to do it. I think the other people that's involved higher up give that girl that money immediately and wrap this thing up.
Well, you gotta also understand too, with all of the documents that they have, like, when you look at if y'all ever get a chance, if y'all are bored, if y'all are sitting on the toilet, you got your phone or your tablet with you, just read through the documentation real quick on how it's listed. It is not listed as Sean Combs, yo. It is listed as Sean Combs, comma, Bad Boy Enterprise, comma, Combs Enterprise, comma. And if you remember, Cassie's lawsuit was not it wasn't a civil lawsuit. It was actually like it was a business lawsuit. She was suing his business because she was part of his business. The way that they're coming at Diddy right now and making it almost impossible for him to run is that he is being charged along with the businesses. So with the lawsuit, the reason why he probably had to cough up that money so fast is because, like, you know, people use their businesses as like protection from their personal assets, their personal income, their personal funds. But if the business is getting attacked with that level of a lawsuit, that was like it was basically the same level of like a sexual harassment lawsuit, pretty much, which you don't want that to drag on, bro, because it's only going to open up more doors. And I think his biggest mistake was going on the internet and telling people that it was a lie, that it wasn't true, because it only opened up more businesses for scrutiny on, it only opened up more scrutiny on his business. Like, you can't run after a while.
Even if he didn't say anything, he didn't need to say anything to open up the door. The lawsuit was. He didn't have to, even if he never responded, the lawsuit was, it gave enough to start looking and probing at a deeper level. Because I think that everything that Cassie's attorneys had her do was strategic. I think they knew that if we set this lawsuit up like this, then they're going to do an investigation later. Trust me. Like, I think that's what they told her. Like, if we set it up like this, we'll be able to get them to start doing investigating and go to jail. Yeah. Because we don't know if Cassie probably was like, I just want that man in jail forever. I don't want none of his money. And because we don't know what's the strategy that the lawyers came up with. But like what you just said, it's not just Puff. They came after the businesses, and they include two of the sons and the mom.
Yeah. More than likely, they're all on payroll. So like everyone on payroll is in this. Like you can't, after a while, you can't run. Like, oh, I'm going to protect myself with the business. Business is under scrutiny. Oh, I'm going to protect. Like, no, you're listed.
He moved like he was invincible, and I feel
Very
like
much.
It's almost as you were taunting, right, in plain sight. You were taunting in plain sight even before the Cassie lawsuit. Like you said, everything he did, it was in plain sight. Like, you remember the Joker thing that he did last year for Halloween?
Yeah.
And
I
there was a
posted.
video of him in front of Rotimi's face, and it was like, what? Why are
That
you
was
terrorizing
Rotimi?
this man? Did you
I didn't
never
know that
saw
was.
that?
Yeah, I didn't know that was Rotimi. I thought that was somebody
I
else.
believe it was. I believe it was If it wasn't Rotimi, it was the other dude that's like Rotimi in power. Like they play like almost the
Yeah. They
same
play the
role.
same like role.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's those two, and I'm just like, you felt like you had the world behind you, and mind you, he kept going up in status in business and what he was doing. You had the Revolt. You had the Ciroc. I don't know what happened with Ciroc. I heard there's a lawsuit there. Now you got the whole Delion. You get what I'm saying? So you're moving up, and you got more eyes on you, knowing what you've done, right? And then you still like, y'all can't touch me.
I think, well, two things, right? Ciroc and Delion I noticed that those are the two businesses that he's part of that were not mentioned in the lawsuit explicitly. So Revolt was, but I think they ended up scratching that out later on because he dropped off of Revolt before the charges were formally put on. But I wouldn't be surprised if they still asked somebody from Revolt to testify. I wouldn't be surprised. But Ciroc and Delion were not. Actually, no, Ciroc was included. Delion was not, which is interesting. I don't know what his stake is in those businesses. But I also feel like, to your point, he was trying to leave a paper trail of good boy behavior. Like that to me is where it's just like the brother love thing. Oh, my new name is Brother Love. Like,
to add to that, I think that if we're gonna talk about him, we're gonna talk about Carisha, Young Miami. And I have some thoughts.
Okay.
If he didn't do any poor behavior towards her, like abuse towards her, then their arrangement was for him to have a good character witness. Somebody that can speak to his good character that he's portraying. You get what I'm saying?
But Carisha?
No, but that's when you look at it, it was an arrangement nonetheless. But look at when she came out and did an interview. She's like, I've never experienced anything like that. She's one of the only people to say that, aside from the other girl that was part of Diddy Dirty Money, and one girl is suing the other girl is like, we ain't had no smoke. I don't know. Like, it's like you have to have someone that can vouch for the other side of your character. Like, it's not all
I definitely see that, but I think if it were, how would I say, if I was the defense, I would pull up Carisha's lyrics and be like, her lyrics and who she is, like her profile as a city girl falls right in line with what Diddy's being charged with.
She doesn't write her raps. So she's just portraying whatever is given to her so she can have a lifestyle.
I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that I would use that to tear the good boy.
And I would go back. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, everybody writes it. What? Somebody's writing Diddy's little 4 lines on every other song. What are you talking about? Okay, everybody carries a persona. How many people are writing Beyonce's lyrics? Is she over here replacing her husband? No. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the part. But also, there's a part of me that believes, girl, you've seen some stuff, and you probably was part of it.
I think it goes so much deeper than all of us are maybe willing to admit. And I think it is also going too far, because now they're pulling up pictures of everybody with Diddy. And I'm like, listen, this guy has been throwing parties for the last 30 years. I don't believe Aretha Franklin was at a freak off, right? I don't believe that. I think Aretha Franklin went to a party, grabbed her bag, grabbed a to-go plate, and was like, y'all young kids have fun. Like, I don't believe that just because you were there means you were at a freak off or you saw something.
Because I do think there's a difference. I think in the beginning there may have been a difference between Diddy party and freak off, because in the beginning everyone didn't know the freak off was a thing. However, now when you look at interviews of people, everyone says like they have this little eerie, don't go to a Diddy party. Don't, because now you know that the lines are blurred, it's crossed. The party and the freak off is synonymous at this point. Something is happening in plain sight that we're not catching. And I think when people are looking at the old stuff, they are trying to see if they can find something. So I'm not just gonna put a picture out here and be like, oh, look, Leonardo DiCaprio was at a Diddy party. No, I'm assessing the situation, kind of seeing like what's going on in this photo and see if there's some parallels. Now you're telling me.
But the reality is, right? It's just kind of like when you go to a celebrity party during Art Basel. You go to the celebrity party, you just happen to be there. You got in, bro. Thank God, right? Somebody plugged you in. There, at some point, that party is gonna fizzle out, or it's gonna die, and it's gonna move somewhere else, or you're gonna get kicked out, right? And I feel like being at the party from 8 to 3 is not the freak off. The freak off is the 3 to 6, 3 to 7. And you're not going to be invited to that, right? You have to be invited to those parts of the party. So again, Leonardo DiCaprio photo, I don't believe that we're ever going to see photos from a freak off, because I feel like maybe that's the one part of their whole thing where it's like, keep the footage. One, I think it would be more video than anything else. I hate to imagine this stuff, but I think it would be more video than anything else. And I don't think it would be something that's just out there like that, where you just happen to be the guy at the bar and they're just like, hey sir, excuse me, would you like to go freak off? Like, it's not gonna
yeah, let me get an old fashioned with a side of, are we gonna go?
Yeah, it's not gonna be like that. By the way, another breaking news, I just read this online right now. The NY Scanner just posted this. Multiple sources say that New York City Mayor Eric Adams will be arrested as early as tomorrow. Bro, what did Cat Williams do to this year?
Everything.
What did he do? Like, what did he know? What did he smoke? What was it, bro? Like, I keep thinking about that interview and I'm just like, my man's really just predicted the entire year, just the entire year. So that's news on top of news. But let's move to something else. So what is the word? I just think about something real quick where it's like, you hear all of these terms out there nowadays. Someone called me Unc on TikTok. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm still wrestling with the idea of that. So I wanted to see if you and I could find ways to define some very, very popular online words. All right. So I will throw out a word and then we will see if you can create the parameters for what that is. Okay. Are you ready? All right, cool. Word number 1 is auntie. Like, the word gets tossed around a lot. It's clearly a woman, right? But like, what defines auntie?
Well, definitely going to say older. So this is definitely someone older than you. And I would say that they're at least a generation or two older than you.
Okay.
And so because if you think about it, your aunt would be your parent's sibling. So that's at least one generation or two of separation. So I would say that they're at least, 1 or 2 generations ahead. And I feel like something that's significant about the aunt and the uncle are the people that they cool. It's like the cool. There's a coolness factor to it.
Okay.
You know, it's not just you literally saying my aunt or my uncle. Like when you say unc, you talking about the cool unc. Like how many men out here are the same age as Shannon Sharp, but we're not calling them all unc. Like y'all don't get that.
True.
So I feel
True.
like they're cool, and then they also probably like maybe they dropping some gems on certain things. You know, they're giving some insight on certain things. I think that's essential for. I don't know if Unc is on the list too, but that's how I see it. It's the generation, and so I see a comment that says 30 plus is like auntie and Unc to the youth, and I think yes, the youth being the Gen Zers because they just want
Yeah.
to say
Yeah.
the younger Gen Z
So
and doing stuff. So yeah.
by that logic, I guess I'm cool with being called Unc. Like if somebody's 21, they are definitely a generation lower. So
Mhm.
damn. Now
Yeah.
with Auntie, does the person have to does being childless matter? Like, because I see you say sometimes on your TikTok, like you're the rich cool auntie, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, does auntie automatically mean like can
I
you be auntie and still have your own kids?
think you can, but I think the term when we're saying that is like the cool childless aunt and uncle because they look out, they take care, they give gems, they give money. You know, like
Yeah.
I got a niece, she's 6, and we be having the time of our life, and she's gonna go back home. She's gonna go back with the people that own her. Okay. I think you're still an auntie in a general sense when you have your own kids because you know that. But I think when we're thinking about this generation and how we talk, when people are saying the rich auntie, it's like the rich auntie that's out here living her best life, and she probably couldn't if she had some kids here. Okay. She probably
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
like her parents. Okay. We don't want that.
All
But
right.
yeah, I definitely agree. It's definitely a joke. It's not too serious.
Okay. Let's see. When you're 30 plus, I'm only gonna call you uncle or auntie in a joking way, not for non-blooded, really. I don't really say unc, but I have said nephew one time, and it was like a Freudian stuff. I was like, all right, nephew, and I was like,
How old were the
no,
person?
nah, they were young. I think they were 21, maybe 22. But like nephew, I feel like nephew ages you way more than unc does. Like if I
I
say
do think,
nephew, I got cookout sandals on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just a different
yeah.
level of age. If
No,
I'm
I
an
feel
unc,
like nephew sound like it came from your grandfather. Not
like, nephew is a different level of let me see if this nephew is a different level of age. You know what I'm saying? Now there's another term too. It's an old one, cougar. Okay, how does cougar differentiate from auntie? Because I can
okay,
say, oh, I'm about to hit the spot, go pick up some aunties, but like, how is that different from I'm about to hit the spot, pick up a cougar, or is
okay.
cougar just
First of
outdated?
all, cougar is not outdated. I think everybody uses the term cougar.
Okay,
So I mostly hear it with young dudes or even dudes our age, right? I hear the cougar term versus a woman saying she's finna get a cougar. So I think a cougar is an older woman. Um, and I think it's an older woman with money.
okay,
Okay, it's an older woman with money who is trying to have a good time and probably not for a long time. Okay,
okay.
I think that is cougar. Now you saying you finna go get an auntie? It sounds like you want somebody younger because even though we say aunt and unc, we say aunt and unc for the person older than us. We're not viewing them from the lens of a cougar that's like, oh, you finna have a young Thundercat with you or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, that's kind of like my thought behind it. It's female centered. It's female
Okay.
centered. It's female centered, money, older. They're single. We know for a fact they're single.
Generation, like, does it follow the same rhetoric as the auntie? Is it one generation or more?
I would say it's two. I would say it's two generations. Yeah, I would say that, because if you're 30, you could get a 50-year-old cougar. That's you get what I'm saying? You get a 50, 60-year-old cougar. If you're 21, a 30-year-old is not a cougar, honestly.
Right.
You feel me? But if you're 21 and you got a 40-year-old, it's like you got to hit 2 decades at least.
Okay.
To do that. I think that's the math. I could be making that up.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Somebody. Like if I'm 34, so technically if you do 2 decades, that's like 14. Not a cougar, not interested. Okay. But if the person is a 18-year-old, I feel like if they're going for cougars, they're going for women in their 30s at 18. Like there's a significant gap.
Okay. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I think 21 is like, if a 21-year-old was trying to talk to you, he can call you a cougar.
Nah, see, no. If you're 21, 20 years would be 44. No, 41.
That's too big of a gap to where it's just like.
But that's the number though.
It's almost not even. Okay. I could take that. Jessica said, auntie is 1 decade, cougar is 2 decades. I can take that.
Yeah.
I can take that. Okay.
I agree.
So yeah, 21 would be 41, which definitely sounds like a Hail Mary, Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary, but sure. Depends on how you're trying to get at her. Sure, okay. And then the last two here, the ones that we hear all the time. Icon and iconic. Like, kind of one and the same. Like, it doesn't need a definition, but I like if you have a good example of like an icon or something or someone that is iconic, or you know, a song, an album, a movie, a moment, like people just throw that word out all the time, like, oh, such and such is an icon. And I'm like, Honey Boo Boo is not an icon. Like, you know what I mean? Like Katy Perry is not.
Yeah, we need to talk about the definitions, because that's right up there with that word legend. And I just be like,
it's on there too. I have legend and classic. Like
so as far as icon, the type of person that I would say is an icon would be, they would have to have done something that no one else has done. So that's like one part of it. So I can understand why someone is going to say Katy Perry's an icon for something. I don't follow her to know, but maybe she's done something that no one else has done. I feel like on a basic scale, but I feel like they may have done something iconic. To be an icon, I think it has to be something that no one else has done, but it impacts a wide range of people, like a wide internationally and nationally, honestly. But I guess, like, I feel like it's the impact that makes them viewed as an icon versus they had an iconic moment.
Right. Because a moment can be iconic, right?
Right.
And so you can have an iconic moment without being an icon. Like the moment could just be that big, right? It could have been that significant. I'm thinking of an iconic moment right now. With
Kanye West taking the mic from.
I was actually just thinking that. Like, that is an iconic moment. Like, Kanye is not an icon. I don't think he's an icon, right? But to challenge your point about like being able to do something that someone else has done, I think it just depends on what it is too, because when they put out all this information that like Drake has surpassed Michael Jackson and it's like, oh, that's very cool. But here's the thing, right? No one is dressing up like Drake doing Drake dances. There are kids today that have never seen Michael Jackson live. Poor them. Sorry for them. Very, very, very sad. Never seen Michael Jackson live, but they're going to put on the shiny glove. They're going to put on the high waist shoes. They're going to kick. They're going to do the moonwalk, and they're going to imitate Michael Jackson. To me, that's like icon. Like, bro, he hasn't been around for 13 years, 14 years now. And he is still that big to children who have never seen him before, right? That's an icon. And I can't think of anyone who is more imitated or more impersonations and all that kind of stuff. You go to Vegas, I mean, yeah, you might see like 5 Elvises, but you're going to see 12 Michael Jacksons. They might even have a Michael Jackson off, like in the middle of the street. Like, that's how many Michael Jacksons there are. So to me, that's an icon.
Yeah, I definitely said that. That's why I think it's more than just the moment. It's the impact that the moment and multiple moments have led up to. And like you said, he's still here, though he's not still here.
Right.
And not many people have that. I honestly can't think of people that's still here besides like, and also I would say like the way that people kind of keep up your name and your what you've done and who you were. Because I also think about like we're always seeing. I have it on my shirt. Prince on my shirt.
I think
you're always seeing you're always seeing Tupac's on the shirts. You're seeing the Whitneys on the shirts. They're not putting everyone on the shirt.
Right.
They're putting certain people that they know like transcends culture, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you'll see all different types of people wearing Michael Jackson or imitating Michael Jackson. You'll see all types of people wearing a Prince shirt. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it's differentiated between the person and the moment. But as far as the person, it definitely needs to be something that is talked about well past your years, impacts people on a wide spectrum. And yeah, that's a lot of people on shirts. We're not talking about RIP shirts. We're not.
But you know what's crazy? I was thinking about that too because I have an Ace Ventura shirt, Pet Detective. But then I was also like Jim Carrey. I will argue Jim Carrey may not be an icon. Someone might argue he's not an icon, but his movies are iconic and he has a lot of iconic moments. So to me, I'm like, yeah, Jim Carrey. When
you say his movies, there's only like one that's iconic, maybe 2. So
which are what? What's the?
We always put The Mask. That was like the most. There's nothing like. There's I don't know a film before that or after like The Mask.
You think The Mask is peak Jim Carrey?
I mean, what are you gonna say?
Liar, bro. Liar. Honestly, Ace Ventura.
That's why I said Ace Ventura was gonna be the other one that I said.
Liar, bro. Liar is like liar. You know when like an actor makes a family movie and it kind of changes their career. I feel like Liar was Jim Carrey's like family movie. It wasn't The Mask. It wasn't kind of what's the word? It was straight rated PG, like a family film. It was funny. And it was like, yo, I could really take this acting like an improv. I think there were scenes in that movie that just weren't even scripted, and he just absolutely bodied them, right? Everything after Liar, like Eternal Sunshine, like Justin said, Dick and Jane, like those movies are cool, but it was like already Jim Carrey doing bits of Jim Carrey we had seen, and I feel like they were a little bit more chill Jim Carrey. Liar is like, yo, what is this guy on? But it's funny.
Okay. We agree to disagree.
Do you think this is a loaded question? Very loaded question. Actually, I'm going to open it up. Who do you think is the next icon. Next big icon in today's circuit.
Beyonce. I'd give it to her. I think that when she dies, it's gonna rock the world like Kobe did. I honestly believe that.
I would say more like Michael Jackson. I think Kobe definitely was like, we felt it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like when I say
like,
rock the world, like because of we were still not that. How old were we when Michael Jackson died? Were college age?
Yeah, I was 19.
Okay, so early college age. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, in the same industry, yeah, I feel like Beyonce is Michael Jackson level. I think that Beyonce is Kobe level because they're international. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of NBA players. There's not a lot of Kobe's.
There's
You get
no
what I'm
Kobe.
saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, that's why I think Beyonce is the next one because even the celebs are fans. Like, you feel me? They're dressed up like her for Halloween. Like, what?
I think after Beyonce, the only other person, at least a woman, the only other woman I can think of is Adele. Maybe Gaga. But like,
so
maybe Gaga.
Here's my thing. If we're gonna use Michael as the baseline for musical artists, no one's about to imitate Adele.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, yes, no one's gonna imitate Adele.
But all she's done is music. I haven't even seen her in a skit, a movie, a commercial.
I think Adele is like the Jeepers Creepers of music, bro. She comes out every like significant birthday with an album, drops it, and it
very basic album name
over.
Mm-hmm. Huh? No, I was like, very basic album name. She just like, hey.
Yeah, 19, 21, 25, 30, 35, 40. Like, just simple. But like, every time Adele has dropped, I was in Europe with my mom, and she's like, oh, this is Adele. Leave it on. I really like her. And I'm like, when did you start listening to Adele? She's like, I just really love her voice, like her level of talent. I really, really love it. And I like what she sings about. And they might not be, imitating her, but I did go to a violin concert. One of those, I don't know if you've seen those online, the candlelight violin concerts where they play all the music with violin.
I had planned to go. Okay.
And I went to the Adele one. And this is like a world-renowned group that just travels around the whole country doing these shows. And they did Adele. So I don't think Adele is like imitatable in the sense that Michael Jackson is, because Michael Jackson was a show. It was showmanship, right? It was his performance. Mm-hmm. But I think that if you go to karaoke's and open mics around the world, you're going to have people going up there. I'd like to sing Adele, no one like you. And some person who barely can speak English is going to go up there and
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they're going to go up there and sing Whitney Houston.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yes, you're right. I meant living now.
Okay. I mean, I feel like Adele is going to have a significant impact. Like, she was such a great artist. She is such a great vocalist. That's the word. She's a great vocalist that you want to listen to. And we're gonna, we'll be sad when she goes. And I guess we can call her an icon. I guess we can, but I just don't view her as one because I don't think that you're in one box. Like, even when you think about Michael Jackson, he made great music, but his music videos were movies. That was different. Right, that was iconic in itself. Like, that changed how we watch music videos. You're watching a whole movie.
Yeah.
For the longest, I thought Thriller was a movie. Like, I didn't know it was just a music video.
Well, I mean, back then you had to stop everything you were doing to watch the video because you knew, like, all right, this little 12-minute movie, like it's gonna play on MTV and I gotta catch it right now. Like you know, back in the day when that was
you know what I'm saying? So I feel like there has to be some things that you do that's like unprecedented. Like no one has done that. And because you did that, you've changed history. You've changed like all that plays a role. And then he wasn't just the artist that performs, because everybody performs. Drake gets up there with a black tee and some pants. Michael was having pieces made. Like the Thriller jacket is on display in places. You get what I'm saying? Like
it's worth a lot of it's a thing. It's an iconic piece of clothing.
Right. And all those things add on and build to this icon, the impact that it leaves. I can say Adele is an amazing singer. She has a great voice. I want to see her in person. But to go put her as an icon next to Michael and Beyonce, she's a fan of Beyonce. Like she drools over Beyonce.
I mean, I just want to make sure that we're loud and clear that Taylor Swift is not an icon.
Absolutely not. Immediately no.
I just want to make sure we clear on that.
Yeah,
Drake isn't either. I can give it to Jay-Z. I can give it to Jay-Z. Jay-Z's career has done things that no one else is gonna go from rapping to being the president of Def Jam. No one else is doing that. And then retiring.
Give me some other stuff that Jay-Z has done that is so iconic that there's none like that.
I mean, the album run from La Rock Familia, the Blueprint 1, the Blueprint 2, the Blueprint 3, the Black Album, like though 2001 or 2002, 2009, Jay-Z was kind of like if he did music, it was untouchable. So just from an album run, that 10 years of music for Jay-Z was untouchable. Then also being the Def Jam president, I think was something that we just won't ever see someone do that again. Someone of his talent, someone with that level of talent, and someone getting to that level of professional excellence to be the president of Def Jam, then create Def Jam South, Def Jam Island, the amount of artists that came through, then to pivot from that and go Rock Nation, and then have Rock Nation sport. Like from a business standpoint, the business aspect of Jay-Z matches the business acumen that he rapped about. Then you pull Beyonce. Then that's on a personal level. So it's like all of those things to me, in my opinion, is like, it's not iconic in the sense of like, no one's imitating Jay-Z, but like when Jay-Z would come out with the all black on in 2011 and be like this and all that, everybody started wearing all black. When we found out Obama listened to Jay-Z, everybody was like, man, our shit, black excellence, opulence, like it was like that, especially that 2009 to 2000, between Blueprint 3, Watch the Throne, and then what was the album, Magna Carta, Holy Grail? Like that era of like Jay-Z black excellence and Obama black excellence, in my opinion, that shit was iconic, because I feel like even from a fashion sense, his music was changing. His music, Kanye's music, Beyonce's music, Rihanna, Chris Brown, that whole era kind of with Jay-Z at the top. And then the whole Obama thing, like look at how we dressed from 2007, 8. And then niggas was, I mean, we were in the club in business.
I'm a business man.
And then from business casual, it became like, no, really go to the club on some like high fashion shit. That's when people started Michael Kors and, you know, and I feel like you listen to all of Jay-Z's music in that era, it was really awesome. Get your shit together and elevate. Everything Jay-Z was talking about. And it was like, who better to say those things than this nigga who was selling drugs, crack cocaine.
See, that's it for sure.
To becoming the president of Def Jam. So
I give you that. I give you that.
Yeah, but like,
yeah,
I also feel like then you have to include the Kanye and the Rihanna in that too, and then that becomes a whole thing in itself.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do believe they are icons, though. Even though you don't think that Kanye is one. I think he's done some unprecedented things. He has changed the way that they do fashion so much so they are imitating.
You know what? You know what?
That
You're
transition from
actually
producer to rapper to fashion icon, like it all.
you're right.
It's like I have to give it to him, no matter how like people feel personally. I have to give it to him. And same thing with Rihanna. You went from music, then you went to what is it?
Beauty.
Lingerie,
Yeah,
beauty.
lingerie,
Like, you got
beauty.
all that, you know what I'm saying? And so, and now she has brick and mortars. They're literally building one less than 5 minutes away from me, a 5 minute walk.
Really? What, a
Yes,
Fenty or
the Savage Fenty.
that's the clothes, right?
Yeah, that's the lingerie thing that's supposed to take over.
Well, that's good
That's
because
with Victoria's Secrets. That's
they
that's
they got a lot of men's clothes, and I'm like, I'm not ordering this without seeing it in person. Like like $6.99 boxers, bro. I need I need to see it in person.
so they've definitely transited into icon status, and I'm gonna give them their flowers for that one.
You know what?
Now,
You're right.
who's coming afterwards? I don't really see that happening. But
After them, I think I think, and this is not on the outline. I wasn't gonna talk about this, but I think Lotto. Is it Lotto?
mm-hmm.
No. Whose song is Brokey? That's Glorilla, right?
No, that's Lotto.
Okay. I think Lotto. Nah, actually, I take it back. Megan Thee Stallion is next.
I was about to say that. I'm giving it to Megan.
Megan Thee Stallion is absolutely next.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like no questions asked. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think she's definitely on her way. She just has so many people like stamping for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's impossible for her with the music, the beauty, the fashion. Like, I don't think it's gonna really change after that. So I think she's solid. I think she's solid.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
rooting for her.
I was gonna say I think someone between Glorilla and Lotto might in the next 10 years. I think Glorilla more than Lotto, but we will see.
We'll see.
Last piece on this that I want to talk about is both of you and I use AI, and there was a report that I just recently came across that kind of caught me by huge surprise, but then it didn't surprise me at all, which is that right. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, real quick. I definitely heard the Brokey song and I was like, hey, this shit kind of slopping though. And then I went on social media and saw everybody was offended by the song, and she had to issue an apology, and I was like, okay, whatever. But no, I like it. It's a cool little song. But no, this new report, and I'm gonna put it in the QR code for everybody to see. But this new report talks about the numbers about AI, and one of the interesting things that I saw was that the number one group, if you guys see that QR code up top right here, go ahead and click that, or you can scan it, and it'll take you to the article. But the number one group that's using AI right now caught me by surprise because it's not even like our age. It's actually boomers.
And that makes sense.
In what what context?
I'm going to tell you why it makes sense. The boomers are not. So let's go back. AI, at the end of the day, on a basic level, it is used to assist you,
Right.
with whatever it is that you need.
Right.
Boomers are not that savvy. They're older, so I don't think their brains can even work as fast as ours. I also don't think that they have the time and the capacity to put in the energy to get stuff done. And so it makes sense as to why they would invest in the AI technology to get help. And that's just me looking at it at a basic level. It makes sense. I feel like honestly, maybe the millennials are telling the boomers, hey, use this AI software because you're behind. You're behind. Okay. You still have this flip phone, you still have the BlackBerry, and we actually need you to have this document on your phone and send it. Like, talk to the AI. I really think that's
Right.
the push for the older folks, but that's just me guesstimating. My parents fall under boomers, and my mom is always, and you know, they consider Siri AI.
True. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every second it's, hey Siri, you know, she's zoomed into the phone because why not have it this close? And she's asking Siri every single thing. What is the temperature today? Is it going to be a hurricane? Um, where is the nearest? Every second she's asking that. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the older folks are using a lot of text to speech AI also, or speech
That's
to text,
interesting.
whatever.
I
I would.
mean, you're definitely right, and I think this report doesn't say what kind of AI. It just says AI, right? So it could really be anything. I think Amazon Alexa is by far the most popular
Mhm,
piece of AI with boomers, because I don't know a boomer that doesn't have it, right?
mhm.
Um, and just for you guys to see the stat line is that 30.8%. Oof, man, all these pop-ups. 30.8% of people age 61 and older use AI weekly. My first thing was I was thinking of Facebook. Like, I was thinking of Facebook, and I was thinking of, because now you have the Meta AI that pops up in there. And
Oh,
I
okay.
think if you really look at it, if I don't, like, my mom is a boomer too. If my mom doesn't really know how to use like Facebook, and Facebook changes their UI very quickly.
Mhm,
So my mom might be typing in what she thinks is the search bar, which is actually the whole meta search. So
mhm.
she types in something, boom, it gives it to her. Or if there's an article and she's just like, oh, I don't want to read this, and she sees the button that says summarize this, she's going to click on that, right? And then I just can't stop thinking about all of these like Facebook groups, pro Trump, pro this, and all that kind of stuff, where all of these random images are being created. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't imagine people going and like actually speaking, hey, create an image of Trump running through a battlefield with a cat and a dog in his arm. Like, I can't imagine them doing text to image AI like that. But
Mhm.
like, that's what we're seeing, and it's all coming from Facebook. So I don't know where, again, this comes in from, but 30.8% is the highest number in all of the age groups.
Yeah, I believe
So,
it. I think the yeah, I'm reading the article now. It says they're using those assistants, Siri and Alexa.
oh,
Like,
okay.
it makes perfect sense. They're using that speech to text or text to speech, whatever it is. And then, like you said, they probably are utilizing stuff on those apps. My mom, she's on the WhatsApp and the this and the that. So they're probably engaging and stuff like that. I think I'm also interested to know, is it calculating their engagement with the AI?
So like,
So what if someone else is the one that used the AI to generate the image, but now they're engaging with it? And so now more AI images are coming up. So now it looks like they're engaged in AI. You get what I'm saying? Like, I want to know if it's, are we saying they actively utilize this um uh to do something? They
like
actively.
actions and commands and stuff, like
Yeah.
prompts. It says mostly with the age and the demographic part, it mostly says familiarity and utilization, but it doesn't break out familiarity from utilization. Like, I don't feel like a lot of people can see a photo and say, oh, this photo was created by AI. Like,
Agreed.
it's, I don't think so. So like, familiarity with AI would be like, do you know Chat GPT? Do you know Claude? Do you know Gamma? Do you know, what's the other ones? Like, Night Cafe? Do you know Da Vinci? Like, how many of these things do you know? And with that, like, I'd probably be like, nah, they don't know it like that. But at the same time, again, if we're kind of lessening it down to Google Assistant, you know, Gemini, Meta Search, Meta, you know, whatever, then yeah, sure. 30.8%, but it doesn't really say anything outside of that. But the article is still interesting. Like, if you read through it, I think it's still kind of interesting to see that, like, the good, the bad, and the ugly of how people are using AI, specifically in especially in the job market. Those numbers are insane. And I actually saw somebody come out on LinkedIn, and it was embarrassing because they were just like, honestly, I hate that you all keep trying to push artificial intelligence on us. And I was like, dude, why fight it, bro? Like, why fight it? Just catch up.
Work. Yeah, you just got to figure out how to make it work for whatever you're going on, because it's not going anywhere. It's just going to continue to evolve.
Yeah. And even in this, it talks about like the devices, 77% of devices use some form of AI. I will admit, some of it is overkill, right? If I'm going to use Google Assistant on my phone, I don't need Meta Search. I don't need all of the AI that's also included in all of these little apps. Yeah. Like, I don't need all that. Like, I just need one that can control my lights, my home, my this, my that, and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, man, y'all get a chance. Definitely check out that article. It's up top here in the QR code. Scan it or click on the link to have an opportunity to read that. I know we are definitely over time because I say all the time that I try to keep these at 90 minutes, but the conversations were flowing. I know 10 o'clock gets kind of late for people. I knocked out a coffee, but yo, I appreciate you, Lola, for joining on, taking the time out of your busy day, your busy schedule of recovering from burnout and trips and content and project management to come check it. Chill and kick it on VividLife TV. I saw that you're also live on your channel as well. I don't know how you did that, but that's cool.
It gave me the option on the restream.
Oh, that's what's up.
It gave you the option to connect your different platforms.
Okay, so the person in the chat is coming from that's why it says paired.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even think I went to my YouTube, but that's okay. Funny.
Yeah, there's someone in the chat, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. But they have
that is that's so interesting. But yeah, I didn't really I just tested it out. I just tested it out. I'm like, it says connect, let me connect. And
okay.
Well,
hey, we learned something new. I actually am ramping up my investment in this tool. I'm not gonna lie. I attended a webinar with them this past week, and the stuff that they were talking about doing, I'm kind of all bought in because I love this multi-channel thing and being able to go live on multiple platforms all at once. I wish TikTok was a little bit more operational on this one, but I just don't know TikTok enough. So I need to talk to more people about it and see how that's going. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for jumping on. Y'all know the groove. After this live stream, the video will be available on the channel. And then, of course, you'll have an opportunity to check out all of the clips and segments and talking points from today. But outside of that, yo, yeah, I know the groove. Join the Discord. Be part of the conversation, and I'm going to keep on coercing Lola to do project management for some of these videos or find us volunteers for it, because I would like a very fruitful October when it comes to video and content. And her and I have been bouncing ideas off of each other in terms of 2025 and next steps and big actions. So for those that have been praying for a team up again of Lola and Alex, I think you might be seeing it happen in real time. So I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy that we finally got to link up, because I definitely be tuned in like, hello, can I come?
And y'all don't be in the chat, bro. You see how Justin is in the chat? You see how Justin is being demure in the chat?
Very demure, very professional, very engaged.
very engaged. Y'all be watching, and I'm like, bro, say something. Look, now Bright Light want to come in here for real. Like,
I would be better.
I don't know who's tuned in, bro. Like, I gotta say something. Speak up. But yeah, I appreciate you. And we'll keep your contact for sure, and let the people know where to check out the content.
Of course. So you guys can find me on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. It's all Lola the Manager. Feel free to ask any questions you have. Like I stated earlier, you can do the consults, the one-on-ones, the VIP days, all that. Definitely working on the actual like group coaching and stuff. As y'all can see, Alex got work for us. So which means I got volunteer opportunities for y'all to kind of assist with. So yep, check me out, Lola the Manager. And yeah, again, thank you. I'm happy we did this. This is my first stream as a guest, and I like it. Invite me to y'all stream, whoever watching, because I want to do some more.
I mean, it's not gonna be as
because we got the vibes. You can't
like the process was there, the chemistry, it works very well. But yeah, man, y'all check it out. And of course, y'all stay subscribed to myself. I am Alex Auguste. I'm back on Instagram. So for those of y'all that missed me, I'm not fully back yet. I'm getting everything back ramped up and getting ready to kick some things off, including a new vlog series for YouTube. So if y'all want to see a lot more Alex, it'll definitely be on YouTube as well as TikTok. So that's all I have. Y'all know the groove. My next guest is definitely working on being this gentleman in the comments, Just Cuz 305, along with Apollo 813. I don't know why everyone's got their area codes at the back end of their names. Apollo Jones 813, but we'll work on that. And I think I should also let y'all know too that the calendar currently has us for a stream next week, but due to some conflicts and some challenges with the scheduling, I will not be streaming next week, at least not a formal VividLife TV. So yeah, y'all be sure to tune in, subscribe, and I'll be posting out a new schedule for y'all to check out. But let's go ahead and wrap it up, and I look forward to seeing y'all on the next stream, y'all. We out.